In CI News this week, new figures reveal the awful scale of abortions since 2019. Amnesty International is criticised for branding the Christian Institute and others anti-rights organisations, and a government minister warns against liberalising drug laws. Hello, welcome to CI News on the 17th of July. I'm Rhys Kernow. The number of abortions in Ireland has surpassed 10,000 for the third consecutive year. According to the Department of Health, there were 10,600 abortions in 2025. All but 2% of these took place before 12 weeks, when women can abort their child for any reason and carry it out at home. The Health Service Executive's report on abortion services revealed that since the law was liberalised in 2019, 57,461 abortions have taken place in Ireland. Eilish Mulroy of the Pro-Life campaign highlighted that 1 in 6 babies now die by abortion. What's happening today is abortion on a completely different scale from what senior politicians like Micheál Martin and Simon Harris promised the public would happen if they voted for repeal in 2018. Yet in recent months, the only changes in which these leaders have shown any interest are proposals that would lead to still more abortions, their support for the removal of the 3-day reflection period being a case in point. The Christian Institute has reaffirmed its commitment to be salt and light in the public square after Amnesty International UK branded its work anti-rights. In its briefing, A Growing Threat, Amnesty claimed to have identified a network of groups targeting the rights of women and LGBT+ people, including Christian charities, pro-life organisations and gender-critical campaigners. And it accused the Institute of fostering moral panic and posing a threat to human rights protections. But following widespread criticism, Amnesty withdrew the report. Our director, Kieran Kelly, told Premier Christian Radio that the CI remains unapologetic and unbowed.
Their fixation seems to be people who don't like or who push back against gender ideology, people who push back against abortion, people who are unwilling to see free speech criminalised through a conversion practices ban. And we tick a number of those boxes. We've got over 60,000 supporters, nearly 65,000 supporters around the UK and the Republic of Ireland. We're supported by around about 5,500 churches. I don't think our supporters hear of something like this and think, oh, I'd better think twice about supporting the Christian Institute. They understand what we stand for. We stand for biblical truth and that biblical truth playing out in society.
An inquest has found that bookmaker William Hill could have done more to help a 40-year-old gambler who took his own life. Assistant Coroner Adela Williams criticised a lack of intervention by the gambling firm during the time leading up to the death of Gareth Evans. During a 3-week period in 2020, Evans lost around £18,000 to the operator through his online account. Shortly before his suicide in 2021, he reportedly visited a William Hill betting shop several times a day, spending hundreds of pounds on its sports betting terminals. While Dad Tony recognised that nothing could change what happened to his son, he hoped the inquest's outcome would help people understand that gambling kills. Charles Ritchie of Gambling with Lives, a UK charity supporting bereaved families, said Gareth's death was one of a growing number of cases where a coroner has recognised the role gambling played in a suicide. He called for a modern gambling law that reflects the risks posed by today's gambling products and industry practices. And finally, the Minister for Justice, Home Affairs and Migration has warned that decriminalising drugs would only exacerbate social problems. Responding to a question by Gary Gannon, Jim O'Callaghan raised concerns that recommendations from the Joint Committee on Drugs Use to liberalise the law would increase the use of drugs generally.
My concern is what happened. If you look at what did happen in British Columbia, the Minister for Health there is a Social Democrat, member of the Social Democrat Party. They brought it in about 3 years ago, decriminalisation. And they're reversing out of it now because it has led to a lot of public disorder, they say, and it's also led to a lot of public taking of drugs. Now, I have great empathy for people who have addiction problems. It is a huge challenge for anyone in life. But you and I also have to consider what's going to be the impact on other people who aren't taking drugs, if it seemed to be the case that you can openly take all drugs. And it's not just cannabis you're talking about. We're talking about heroin, we're talking about crack cocaine. If people can take those drugs openly without the Gardaí being able to say you can't do that, that's going to have a very negative influence, in my opinion, on people in the area, particularly kids in the area as well. If they see this happening, it's going to be normalised.
To explore these stories and much more, visit our website, the.ci, and be sure to subscribe and follow us across our social media channels. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed weekend.